We'll now take a look at more high quality plots rather than the quick plots that we've just produced, particularly when we're doing long section and cross section plots where you've got many pages of plots and you're required to have layouts including information such as labelling of chainages and heights, depths, alignment geometry and all the services, etc. Then we use what we call a PPF or a plot parameter file. So the first one we're going to take a look at will be a long section plot. So if we go into our long section view and just do a zoom all, and we can just turn off our grid for the moment and change our vertical exaggeration down to 2 times. The reason why we're doing this is because we're going to plot the long section and have a plan view underneath it, and on an A1 sheet of paper if our vertical exaggeration is at 10 times then it basically takes up the whole page. We can leave our services turned on. So to plot this using a PPF file, we once again click on the plotter button and this time select long plot. We have a plot parameter file already created, and if you just click on the more information button, click on browse and once again go up 1 level, up 2 levels, you should find one there called long sections lplot PPF, and we can just accept that and click on read. When we read in a PPF file, just expand this out, it automatically fills in all the information that we required. So for example, under the title block section it says we're going to use a title block, and the title block we're going to use is found in our C drive training directory, Getting Started Basic, and is called longsection.tbf, and this is the information that it requires. All the other information is already filled in for us. For example, if we go to the notes page, you'll see that it's already set up to be plotting at 1:500 on an A1 sheet of paper. It'll use pagination every 300 meters with a 25 meter overlap. The tins that we're going to be used, and it's important that we've named our tins this. If we haven't already, then we may need to change our tin names. So the tin that we're going to use will be called ground, and when it calculates the volumes it'll be looking for a report file called Road 1 Volume Report, and this was created using the apply many function. When it hatches the cut and fill, it'll be using 2 tins, one called ground and one called design. So once again, it's important that we have named our tins correctly. If we wanted to change something, so for example, say we wanted to change the pagination, obviously there's a huge menu system over here, and you can expand each one, and you'll see that we can expand it further. So to find something if you're not used to it can sometimes be quite difficult. So for example, if we're looking to change our pagination, we can click on the Find button at the bottom here, and in the drop down menu we find a list of all the different things we can search for. So if we select pagination, it'll instantly take us to the pagination page, and then we can change any values that we require on this page. No need for us to change anything here at the moment, but if we have a look in our title block info, if I can click on Find, and once again click on the down button and look for title block info, this will take us straight to our title block info. If we were going the long route, we would just click on Sections, title block info, and here is the information that will be filled in inside our title block. So we're just going to fill this information in. Our main title, the first line of the main title, we'll just call this Long Sections for Road 1 Area 5 Village of Railway. No need for a subtitle. We'll give it a job number. We'll just call this Suva-0001. This is issue number A. It was drawn by Noel Burton, designed by Phil Davies, and modelled by Noel Burton. At any stage, if you wish to save the information that you've typed in, or if you've made any changes to the menus, you can simply type in a new name here. It's always a good idea to type in a new name when you've got specific information rather than overriding the existing one. And we'll just call this training long sections. And once you've typed in the new name, you can just click on Write. Then if we accidentally close this down before we've done our plot, we can then simply just go back into the long plot, call up our plot parameter file, which was called training long section, read it back in, select the view that we're going to be writing the information from, which is our long section view. And then if we have a look in our title block info, you'll note that it's already filled in for us. So it's always a good idea to save these things off. To actually produce our plot now, just ensure that under the section long plot, or the main page, you've clicked on the view button here and you've selected your long section, which is what we've set up here. We can then click on plot, and you'll note that it's going to plot to a model, and the model will be called preview long section. So we click on plot, and I've been given an invalid report file name, so I need to go to my boxes, volume cut and fill, and my report file here should be called road 1 apply volume, and click on plot. Rather than finishing this off, just minimize it, go into our preview. We can turn off our preview quick perspective view and turn on the model preview long section 1. Now, just to have a look at some of the things in here, you'll note firstly of all we have a plan view plot and a long section plot. The plan view was produced if I open up my section PPF editor again and scroll down. Down the bottom here we have plan plotting. You'll see that I have it ticked on. I've given it some margins. You see we've given it a border, and the border will be in white as is drawn here. And the view to plot is view number 1. So whatever we have set up here in view number 1 is what we will see in our plan view here. So if I didn't want to see all the sections and strings, I just wanted to see the center line, I could go back into plan view number 1, turn off my sections and strings, go back into my PPF editor, and I'll just put my preview back on, move this over, and just click plot again. You'll see the model is cleaned out and then replotted, and this time our plan view doesn't have the sections and strings, just the center line. Other things to note in our long section, if we just zoom in here, you can see we've got cuts where we've cut through the pipes, both our water pipe and our sewer pipe, and 12D has automatically labelled these. Inside our PPF editor, this has been done under the cut section. You see here we've got two definitions of sets. The first one will be modelled survey sewer pipe, and the second one will be modelled survey water pipe. And then the information we're going to label, we have the chainage, the height, the diameter, and we could also put in a label or a symbol. In this case we haven't done that, so we've just labelled the chainage, the height and the diameter. You can see here we have the chainage, the height and the diameter. So the diameter of the water pipe, if I click on the diameter, it has a pre-text of water pipe and a post-text of millimeters with a diameter symbol, which is shown here. If we just turn this one off and turn on number 2, 12D has automatically labelled the sag points, and this has been labelled under labelling points with chainage, height and grade deflection. Inside our PPF editor, you see we can select what it is we wish to label. In this case it's the sag, and where we're going to put it, and then of course how the labels look. If I zoom out a little bit more, you can see we've labelled things like our horizontal geometry here. We have a radius of minus 200 meters, and also our vertical geometry. And all of this is defined underneath the extensive vertical geometry and extensive horizontal geometry. You can see in our plan view over here, we've also got areas of cut and fill that have been hatched, and this is done under hatching, cut and fill. We just define our original tin, which was the ground, and our new tin, which was our design. And then how the hatching is going to look comes under cut. You can see areas of cut are red and they have an angle of 45 degrees for the line style, and areas of fill will be in green and they hatch back the other direction at 135 degrees. At the same time, we have our volumes for areas of cut and fill, and this is under the boxes, volume, cut and fill. And if you recall earlier, we had to change our Road 1 apply volume to use the report that we created when we created our apply. So it'll use this report here to calculate the areas of cut and fill, and then to report them inside of the boxes area here. Once again, you can set up how you want your titles to look. So volumes, we've got it written here in magenta. The cut volume, the fill volume, and then the values as shown here. Standard information shown inside our long section plot is the height of the natural surface, which is our ground tin, the depth between the natural surface and our design, which is Road 1, and the chainages. We've also drawn a super elevation table, but of course we didn't put any super elevation inside of our design, so nothing will be shown. And we could just remove this under super elevation diagram. We can change this to don't draw the diagram, click on plot, and you'll see it's instantly removed. And that's how easy it is to recalculate a long section plot or any other plot. Just change whatever parameter, click on plot, see what it does, determine if you like that or not, and then you can either turn it back on or you can leave it as it is. I'm just going to finish on this section editor, PPF editor now. Zoom in down the bottom here, and you'll see that the information we entered into the title block information has come through. We've got automatically our scales and the chainage range. Then the information we entered was drawn by NEB, designed by PRD. The project is automatically read from the name of our project, and the title, long sections for Road 1, Area 5, Village of Roa. The drawing number and the job number have automatically come through.